All right, there we go. Good morning, beloveds. All right, I'm a little more awake today. I got up, went for my bike ride, took a shower, washed my hair. I don't know what was up with me yesterday. So we are doing your spiritual power. We happen to be in Pray and Prosper in your spiritual power. So let's do the housekeeping and then we'll get on with it. Hold on. And the housekeeping is merely me reminding you, we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email is creativelife. Hold on. I say it every day, and now my brain is just going, wait, what? Creativelife.org. Yeah. That's it. info@creativelife.org. There we go. I knew I was missing something. All right, there we go. That is the email. If you email that, you get on a mailing list. You get one email a week, unless something unusual happens. As I like to remind you, we do live in hurricane country. It tells you what's going on for the week and the month, and the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it means it. It is also a blind CC, which means nobody's going to see your email, so you won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. So it's a safe thing to do. So that is that. I will mention the social media merely from the standpoint of we do not monetize it. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do instead is to like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you are on. Because like on Facebook, you can like and subscribe, or you can like and follow. If you allow notifications on the platforms, it'll let you know either when we upload new videos or go live. So, if you're interested in that. And then engage with the individual posts. So when we post things, react to them, comment on them, share them. It bumps us in the algorithms, more people see our stuff, which is kind of the goal here, right? So that is a free and easy way that you can support the center. Okay, that is that. Now, we are doing your spiritual power, and as I like to point out every day, it is a collection. It's a collection of inspirational writings. Basically, it's a bunch of probably Ernest's smaller works that aren't found anywhere else, or are not. They didn't make a lot of copies of them. They can be kind of rare. So somebody got them together, collected them, put them in a book, and that's what we are working our way through. Which it's been really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed what religious science teaches because he broke down the principles for you, and I was just like, all right, I'm on top of this. We happen to be in a little book called Pray and Prosper, and right now we're doing like small individual little sections. So I'll probably cover about 3 of them, because one is not enough, but more than 3 is probably too many because it's very rich material. It's deep material. And I don't want to give myself too much to think about. It's like, I want to go away and marinate on what I've done. And then, I'll come back tomorrow. So, we are starting with the word of power. And if you're following along in the book, I am on 164. So, the word of power. He taught them as one... Oh, this is what happens when I mess with the camera angle after I go live. It collapses on me. So, there we go. I really need to get a new iPad holder, and I've just been too lazy to do it because I can't get it to hold it, the iPad to hold it quite at the right angle. So, all right, there we go. All right. We're back to the word of power. He taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. In silent communion with the infinite, we create a consciousness of power through the recognition of the divine presence. Jesus said, all power is delivered unto the Son, unto the child. Prayer is a conscious acceptance of this power. That is really, really, really important right there. Prayer is a conscious acceptance of this power, a joyful recognition of the divine presence, a grateful acknowledgement of the protection and guidance, of wholeness and of peace. All power is given unto the child. Prayer enables us to contact this power and to make definite use of it for beneficent purposes. Let me enunciate. To heal, to prosper, to make happy, to reveal the wholeness in everything. Every person has this power. Every person has this power. There is no one who cannot pray. There is no one who does not have access to the divine, because we are all made of the divine substance. Therefore, it's up to us to accept it, though. Okay, so every person has access to this, has this power. Plotinus, it's a Greek name. I'm going to say it however I'm going to say it. Sorry about that. Okay, Plotinus spoke of it as a power which all people possess, but which few use. The Bible tells us to stir up the gift that is within us. We must enter into the consciousness of power. This is done through silent recognition, acknowledgement, acceptance, and definite projection. That's why there are 5 steps. Unification, recognition, unification, realization. Okay? There is one power. I acknowledge the one power, and I recognize that I am part of that power. Okay? I acknowledge that I am part of that power, and then I state what I want. That's why he created it the way he does. Prayer not only receives the divine power, it projects it into manifestation. Prayer directs the invisible power for definite purposes. Okay? That's why he says, pray, it should be direct, simple, direct, and, concise, conscious. When you pray what you want as if you already have it. Direct, simple. Don't get too bound up in don't get too caught up in the details. You let spirit sort out the details. You just say what you want. Prayer directs the invisible power. Prayer directs the invisible power for definite purposes. It does this by acknowledging the power and by accepting that it has no opposites. Nothing hinders spirit. Nothing limits the infinite. There are no obstructions to it. We are told that this power breaks down the iron doors and the gates of brass. Well, that's probably a quote from somewhere. It penetrates every apparently solid object. We've seen quantum. We actually just regular Newtonian physics tells you that nothing is solid. And quantum physics definitely does. It dissolves every obstruction. It creates every desired form. Such is the dynamic power of this silent communion with reality. Okay. Prayer reflects. That's the next topic. The reflection of an image in a mirror is the exact likeness of the image which is held before the mirror. So, the law of cause and effects reflects back to us a likeness of the image of our thought. If thus we are told that we reflect the glory of God, but too often we reflect the fear and limitations of humanity rather than the glory of God. We must find new meanings to life if we hope to create new images, which in their turn will supply new reflections. Jesus told us to judge not according to appearances, but to judge righteously. If we judge only according to what is now transpiring, our reflection of these images will merely perpetuate the old limitation. But if we judge righteously, that is, if we look into the omnipotence of good, we shall create new images of thought, which will reflect greater abundance. Prayer, then, is a mirror reflecting the images of our thought through the law of good into our outward experiences. What are we reflecting? The glory of God or the confusion of humanity? I just want you to know, I do gender neutral. And I do it even when it doesn't, even when I don't, because the actual statement is, but too often we reflect the fear and limitation of man rather than, I'm like, yeah, no, let's go ahead and gender neutral that. I am being good. So, all right. And we may or may not stop with this one. Let's see. Because these are really short. Concentration and visualization in prayer. Prayer does not concentrate substance. It merely focalizes. I guess that's a word. Ernest makes up words. Okay. It merely focalizes our attention upon it. The Spirit is already omnipresent. We do not gather the principle of mathematics together and pile it up or concentrate it for our use. We merely draw upon it. So, it is in the act of prayer. It is attention and not concentration, willingness and not will. Okay. All right. That is, and that is important. Attention, not concentration, willingness, not will. A lot of the times we try and white knuckle things and we don't need to. We don't need to. We need to focus, but we don't need to, like white knuckle it. Like, it is not our power that is doing this work. All we are doing is calling on the power and allowing it to flow through us. It's super important. The power is not coming from us, but through us. So we don't need to white knuckle it. The very idea that we must concentrate something suggests coercion. It suggests a reluctance on the part of the law or the Spirit in its response to us. It suggests laborious effort. The Spirit never exerts effort. It merely remolds itself into the form of its own desire and immediately experiences the form because it reflects its own glory in the law of its own being. There is nothing to concentrate, nothing to force, nothing to argue with, nothing to oppose. If we wish to demonstrate that prayer or spiritual communion is a potent force, then we must believe that both energy and divine action are at our disposal, that the creative genius of the universe is already wherever we focus our attention. We must permit rather than petition. Now that is a killer last line. We must permit rather than petition. Yeah, I think the long guy just made my decision for me. I'm going to go ahead and pause here. We are going to pick up tomorrow with law removes tension. So let me make a little mark so that I remember where to start tomorrow. People get weird about prayer. And that the whole genesis of science of mind is exactly that, is prayer. We don't call it prayer. We mostly call it treatment. Although we do say prayer when we're talking to people who don't use the same terminology we do, because it just makes things a little more clear. But, Ernest kind of went, you know what? Jesus has this really specific way of praying. And it worked. It worked every time for Jesus. There was one time where he said, well, let this cup pass from my lip, but he wasn't serious then. He wasn't actually praying. He was just going, I really don't want to do this. He was having a human experience is what it was. So Ernest was like, why don't we teach everybody how to pray like this? Because it's really, really successful. And then they can take it back into their own, tradition. And people didn't go home. A lot of people probably did, but not everybody. And here we are. So, and I'm grateful. Because, he gave me a home to belong to when I just didn't fit quite anywhere else. So, So yeah, I appreciate him taking the time in this little booklet to talk about prayer and, be real definite about it, because he's very clear that we need to be definite about our prayers. All right. So that is what we're doing today. So I'm going to wrap this up by encouraging you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, a take care of yourself day, a do what you gotta do day, a middle of the week day. It's all good because it's downhill from here day, a you got this day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a drink plenty of water day, a enjoy the cooler mornings, but stay out of the afternoon heat days. Do be aware, we're still rocking pretty close to the 90s, so be aware out there. Apparently I'm out of words day, a good day, and if that is too much pressure, because occasionally it is, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. Very important part of that statement. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. Forget what anybody else has ever said about you. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because the divine knows you to be good. It's all the divine knows. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.